So I wanted to just, I don't know, I just kind of want to chop it up a little bit, just air out my heart a little bit, because there's so much going on in people's life these days, right? I don't know too many people who don't have a heavy heart about something right now, right? And yeah, that's in life in general, but more so nowadays. Either their heart is heavy about finances, either their heart is heavy about their children or their grandchildren, or both. Either their heart is heavy about their job, things going on, trying to get a new one, trying to find one, trying to, get more money, or struggles with their supervisors. Either their heart is heavy about, their marriage and things that may be going on, good and bad. Either their heart is heavy about, relocating where they are, where they're living, where they want to live, where they wish they want to move from. Everybody I know has something going on in their life in one way or another that's perplexing to them. There are some times in life when most of the people that everything good, they happy, they moving how they want to be moving in. But in this season, for some reason, it's like it's a troublesome time. So I don't really know what that extends from, but so, I make my heart a little heavy because I got my own stuff I'm going through too, in particular right now, violence continues in the city that that I'm from. The young lady was killed in the neighborhood that has been perplexed with violence for a long time. And it's crazy because I was just sharing with someone that when Mercy Drive wasn't always like it was. When I was a little girl, Mercy Drive wasn't bad. Mercy Drive was not a bad area. Even when they built the Palms was nice. They were spacious, looked nice inside. And it just wasn't a bad area. Palm Grove was nice. I remember having cousins that lived over there, going outside, playing, and it's crazy how so many things have changed, over the years, in places that were once decent spots. Now they're no longer, and a person may be watching this and they may say, well, you know what? That's why I live in Windermere, or that's why I live, in Heathrow or wherever. But one thing about it, things change. And in the area that you're in right now, it could be wonderful. 10, 15 years from now, it may not be the same. Because one thing about it, I remember when I was growing up in Coffee Shores, you didn't see too many white or Spanish people living around there. My grandma had that house over there for longer than I've been alive. And I bet you one thing, the demographics surely have changed, right? When the economics change and it forced people hand to, now you have to search out cheaper areas to live in. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to go to those areas where, okay, maybe at one point in time you would have never lived over there, right? But so you can never say never, because you don't know how the demographics and the economics will change in the city and cause and force a change in the demographics in that area. So that's why even if your area is not currently perplexed with certain things, you still have to be mindful of that, and it behooves you to pay attention to it and to care about it and to do whatever you can to assist if or when you can assist, because you just never know when those same issues that are troublesome for other areas, that may one day be at your doorstep, right? And I was just thinking about, because I saw the video, at least one of the videos that was circulating, when the young lady was fighting, and that same young lady ended up dead. She have 2 kids. She's young, and that bothered me a little bit, right? Because not because she's the first young lady to die or get shot, but it made me think about, number one, because she was fighting, right? And I came up fighting. Had a bunch of them, you hear me? And it just, I don't know, it just bothered me, because I'm like, man, you know, she got kids, little kids, that because she made a decision to have a fight, right? Because you always could, usually you could walk away from a fight. Usually you either have to walk to it, or you have some point in which you could walk away from it. Now, in the situations where you done got jumped, you know, you can't always walk away from that, because I done been jumped a few times, right? I done been jumped a few times. And all the time, I ain't always had no help. I might have had people there with me, but that don't mean they helped me, right? And in one case, I remember saying, you know, why y'all did help me? And they was like, well, you had it, we ain't have to. Well, if ain't nobody jumping in to help me, I don't have no choice but to fight for my life, right? And I don't have no problem doing that now. But it was just a point, you know. And so in that situation, I really could not have avoided that fight, right? Because it was enough of them that one way or another they was finna swing. And I just, you know, I just was the type of person that, you know, I made a decision a long time ago that if you put your hands on me, ain't no coming back from that, right? And I pretty much have lived to that. You know, if you put your hand on me, man, woman, boy, girl, if you put your hands on me, you old enough to take a lick, you finna get that. So, you know, it really touched me, because I'm like, I don't know what her situation was that she had to fight, but if she didn't have to, if that situation could have been avoided, you know, she still could have her life today. You know, so it also made me think about, you know, so many situations arise where, you know, you might be beefing with somebody, or you don't like someone, and maybe that does not play out in older circles, you know, of our age. It should not be playing out as much if it is in our circles at this age and stage. But for the younger people, and for those who may find themselves in a crazy situation, you know, here or there, I think, you know, you really have to consider what you have to lose. And ultimately, the biggest thing that you have to lose is your life, right? Because you could probably get back everything else besides that. You know, even if you get kicked out of your house, whatever it is you may lose, you could get all of that back besides your life or someone else's life. You know, so I think you need to really, really consider, because it's unfortunate when you lose something, you know, so precious as your life. Because 9 times out of 10, the person who you lost your life for, whoever you were fighting or whoever shot that shot, they ain't have nothing to lose, or they didn't have that much to lose. They may not have had what you had to lose. So then in the end, you become the biggest loser, because you let someone who didn't have anything to lose make you lose it all. And that is the worst thing you can do, to allow someone who has nothing to lose make you lose everything. And for me, that's even a self-check for me, because me having the type of personality that I have, and not really, you know, being a type of person that go for too much foolishness, definitely don't have a high tolerance for any type of disrespect, or you trying me, or really, you know, trying to get over on me, or pulling a fast one, or whatever it is that I feel like you really, you know, you out of pocket with trying me like that. You know, I'll be ready to, you know, hey, make a move, do something, right? And it really made me think. It really humbled me to, like, man, some of this stuff, like, that stuff don't be worth it. You know, you be in your emotions at the time, and you feel like a person that got over on you in some kind of way, or they really trying you, and it really is, it's emotional. And 2 days from now, you may not feel those same emotions. And I know for a fact that in the moment, sometimes it's hard to pipe down. It's hard to pipe down. I have had situations in the last year where I'm telling my homegirls, like, listen, hey, I'm finna go do this. I'm finna move like this, this, and this. So I'm telling you now. And they like, no. And I'm saying, like, I'm not going to be able to sleep until I do X, Y, and Z. So I understand that sometimes we get very much so caught up in our emotions. And we make decisions. And sometimes you don't get caught. But sometimes, it go as planned or whatever. But every time it don't. And it could end real bad. So I just, want to encourage younger people especially, to think about the things that you're doing. Even going back and forth, even some conversations. Some people are just not worth your breath. If you're a person, as the young people say, who got emotion, you have something going on, you got a little business that you're trying to boom, or even if you ain't boomed it yet, and it's just something that, you thinking about doing. You have some potential, you have some aspirations to do something. That's motion, right? So if you're a person out here with any type of motion, you definitely cannot afford to do certain things. It's people that you shouldn't even argue with. It's people that you shouldn't even write a sentence to. You get into a text battle with somebody. It's some people that don't even deserve a text response from you, right? And we really have to start being mindful of those situations that just don't deserve a response, let alone an actual action or a physical action. And I think that's something that we have to, kind of start chin checking ourselves about, because in the moment you're emotional, so you ain't thinking about that. You just thinking about how they've made you feel, like, they've disrespected you or tried you or whatever. So you respond, and then if you like me, you may keep on responding. You may text till your fingers get tired, just because you're gonna let them know whether they want to hear it or not. You gonna make them block you, right? But at the same time, just because you're willing to go that length, it does not mean that you should. It does not mean that that person deserves your time, your effort, your energy, even your thoughts into the matter. Sometimes people are just not deserving. A lot of times those people who have pushed you to that limit and made you feel a certain way, those are they don't deserve the kind of response and the kind of energy that you're giving them. They don't even deserve the type of emotion that has, that they have worked up inside of you. They just don't deserve it, And so we have to be mindful of that. We have to start thinking about that before we do anything, especially before we do things that have the potential to damage our life, damage our brand, damage our reputation. We have to think about that, because it's just far too many things going on that could have been prevented. And it's going to be even more things that start coming up, right? Because it definitely does not appear that things are getting better in life. Certainly they're getting worse. Certainly there are end times. We're in end times, right? So as things start getting worse, you got to start moving better. You got to start thinking better, making better decisions, trying to keep yourself out the way. And a lot of times people get caught up in, wanting to live and wanting to stay in certain areas, wanting to listen. Sometimes you have to move all the way out the picture. Sometimes you have to relocate to another city, to another state. Whatever it takes to keep your thoughts intact, to keep your emotions intact. Sometimes Your family can be the problem. And sometimes you need to get away from them, you know. Whatever it is that you need to do. I think we are at a time where we need to be in the mind frame and have the mental capacity to make decisions that we're willing to do whatever it is that we have to do to have a better life, to stay out the way, to get out the way, to give ourselves a fighting chance to live the best life that we can. Because if you like me, you know, you have spent your life trying to make decisions that will later afford you a decent life, right? So to have made certain decisions so that you will have a certain kind of life, and then to let a nobody person strip you of that, it would seem as if all of your efforts have been in vain. You did all of that for nothing. You went to college for nothing. You got a good job for nothing. You moved out the way, stayed out the way for nothing. You started, controlling your temper, controlling your mouth and all of that for nothing. If you let somebody come and trick you out your spot, if you let your emotions overtake you. My granddaddy killed his best friend and end up dying in prison, right? Not because he was a terrible person, but because he was no nonsense. He wasn't going for it. Even if it was his best friend, he wasn't going to let you do nothing to him and let you get away with it. He had something for you. You got off in that moment, but he was going to have something for you in the next moment. And see, I have to be very mindful of that, because that is how I feel, and I'm not saying it's right to feel that way, but it's some things that, when you come up a certain way, it's just, you non-tolerant. You just don't let things go like that, So I always try to keep that in mind, that no, I don't want to die in prison, and I don't want to die from nobody killing me neither. So, you have to make different choices. So if that means I have to move myself out the way, get somewhere where the normal people don't see me every day. If you see me online, because you on this page or you stalking the page, fine, that's cool. Write all the comments you want to write. You know what I'm saying? But you can't get next to me. And it behooves you not to get next to me, right? But I said all that to say, just in this season, do what you can do to stay out the way, right? Because you got people that their sole mission is to try you, to push your buttons, to make you lose your motion, to make you lose your job, to make you, to make your name and your brand look bad, to make people not love you in the way that they do, to make people not feel about you the way they do. It's people who, they mad because people think highly of you. They mad because people respect you. They mad because your name is good, right? And you can't help that. The same way you can't help if a person just don't like you for whatever reason and you never did nothing to them. You can't help that the same way you can't help if it's people out there who they like, I like her. She real respectful. When she see me, she speak or whatever. If they like you and they put respect on your name for whatever reason, you can't help that. That's a good thing. That means you carried yourself in a certain way that people feel like they owe you that. That's a good thing. But you understand me, as people who they don't like that, because they so envious and jealous hearted or just evil that they want people to feel that same disdain towards you that they feel. And they be willing to do anything to make your name mud. Anything, And I looked at the little girl, her pictures, she looked cute, like, man. And I'm not saying that whatever she did was her fault, because I don't know the circumstances to it. But what I am saying is that sometimes you have to play defense. You have to avoid everything. Right? You have to predict what could happen and avoid it. You just have to. So I said all that just to say, be encouraged is hard. It is hard times for a lot of people. Well, be encouraged because it don't have to stay that way, And there are things that you can do to still have a good life, to make the best of whatever it is your situation is, and to be the best person that you can be. But there are pitfalls out here right now, and there's a lot of them that you have to be mindful. You have to be intentional about avoiding. It's people you have to avoid. It's places, situations, circumstances you have to avoid them. If you know you quick tempered, if you know you got a smart or slick mouth, it's certain people that you can't even have conversations with because they're gonna bring that slick and smart mouth out of you, right? And even that can go too far. Because yes, some people understand that that's just who you are or how you talk, but everybody ain't understanding of that. Everybody ain't understanding of that. Oh, I just talk like this. I just no. And in these days and times, it's so many people that have emotional issues, mental health issues, just hateful issues. So you cannot just show up as who you are sometime and expect people to respect that and accept that. Right? So, like I say, we out here, we have to play some defense, We have to be able to, see stuff ahead of time and go a different direction. It don't make you pie, it don't make you a punk, it don't make you scary. It just make you a person who you trying to keep your motion, you trying to live a good life, you trying to avoid the pitfalls and the snares that have been laid out for you, right? So with that said, send this to whoever might need to hear it. I really do a lot of things for people my age and younger. So if it's older people on here, y'all have grandkids or, they may be like, I don't want to listen to her. She ain't the most popular YouTube person, whatever. But one thing about it, she got some things that she can say. She got some experience, some real life experiences that she can share, right? And you could take whatever I done said and you can connect it to something going on in your life or somebody else's life. That's the whole point of this CHIC-CHAT podcast, because I feel like I have something to say that can reach somebody and help somebody in some way. Can't say everybody, but you can help somebody.